We're going to talk about ACBL Score a little bit. I did a brief workshop on this Thursday. Hopefully I learned some of the ways to overcome the problems I was having on Thursday, and this will go a little bit smoother. So first of all, ACBL Score, you can get the program on acbl.org. If you go to our clubs, there are resources for you available there. You can download the ACBL software for your computer. Club hotline number is available for you to call during your game when you're having trouble. Live for clubs, the link is live.acbl.org, and you can go to club results. This link here, what I'm going to do at the end, I believe I said this earlier in the presentation, is I'm going to send the slides in a PDF document. So you will have these links available to you. But if you will bookmark this page here with the administration resources and forms live for clubs, and then bookmark here on your toolbar for your browser, it will help you get to the right page for uploading your games. There have been some technical glitches and we apologize. But I know some people are having difficulty. In a few minutes, I'm going to ask Bradley Bartol, my handy right-hand club manager and ACBL director, to try to demonstrate for us by sharing his screen, showing you how to upload games for live for clubs. Hopefully it will go well, and if it doesn't, you'll get to see what problems you might run into. So we will do that as we go. So this is the welcome screen you're going to get when you open ACBL Score. There is a glitch in the program that brings up and I'm going to demonstrate this for you. But to avoid that glitch, you just tab to the time of day before you try to sort using the commands. I'm going to show you this here in just a moment, but we want to cover a few things here. There's also, when you're in your game, if you choose the F1 function key, there are helps available there where you can do a search and you can ask questions about certain things, setups, problems that you're encountering, ways to do different things. So that's one way to get you some help. We have different ways. There's more than one way to skin a cat in ACBL Score, and there are a lot of different ways to do several different functions. And so the F11 key, when you are in your game file, the F11 key is going to bring up a list of a menu of different commands that are available to you. Some of these commands are commands you're going to use frequently. Others are seldomly, and some are maybe never. But these are ways that you can get to that menu, the F11 menu, as well as the F9 menu. Will get you to settings for your particular game. I'm going to go through some of that also when I open up Score. But these are some of your quick keys to move through different sections. You can arrow up and down, you can page up and down. You can actually control arrow left and right to move through games that you've had previously, rather than closing down your program and reopening. Our quick key for entering scores is F2. Many of you probably use electronic scoring. There's a different command for that, and that is Control P, that posts your scores. What it does is it posts all the scores that are out there up until the end of the second to the last round. So you want to post your up to your last round, and then you can do a leaderboard with one round to go, so that when your players finish, they can kind of see where they stand in the field as the scores are coming in. And then you can Control P until all of your results are posted. It will show you in your game file. It'll give you a message that they've all been posted. F6s are, again, the F11 is, if you hit F11 and you start to type these letters, this is what you're going to get. But you can just use the quick keys. F6 is for event leaders. You can also do F3 to enter names. For bridge mates, if you're using F11 BMN, is we call, the way I remember it is bring many names. but that's how you bring in your Bridgemate options. That's how you bring in your Bridgemate names. And then recap is F5. ACBL Score commands for adding a section is add. This DB add is really it's obsolete. You don't have to DB add your games any longer now that we do our monthly reports through Live, because you are uploading all of your results through Live. Those calculations are done through that software, and you don't have to DB add your games any longer. This summary is F11 sum. It will give an individual report card to your players who want to just kind of see what their individual scores were, rather than looking at the remotes or looking at perhaps the recap sheet that's hanging on the wall. Print a list of winners for posting your newsletter. This is actually free advertising in newspapers. If you can find a newspaper that in their community section or entertainment, sometimes they're looking for fill, and they will put your bridge results for your group in the paper. And it's surprising to me the number of people that used to talk to me about seeing my name in the paper. So BUL, F11 BUL bulletin, that's the way we print out something to take and drop off at the paper or to email them, one or the other. And then Pecan is the way that we print little coupons for our non-members to give them an idea of the master points that they're winning, so that when, and I do say when, we need to encourage them to join. When they join, they will get credit for all of those, and they'll have an idea of what kind of master points they're winning. Okay, so let me do this. I'm gonna stop sharing this for a moment. Oops. And all right, folks, screen one. All right. Hopefully you guys can see my ACBL score. You see the screen now for ACBL score. Let's see if I can get somebody to. All right, guys. So just a nod of head for those that have video. You see my ACBL score screen? Great. Okay. So what first things we want to do is, as we're getting back to face-to-face, now this is this part of the presentation is assuming that you have run ACBL score before, that you have directed games before. So it's going to be kind of a brief little refresher. It's certainly not going to be all things ACBL score to teach people that have never done ACBL score, but hopefully it will kind of remind you of some of the things you need to do as you get ready or have already returned to face-to-face. Okay, so the first thing we really want to do is we want to go to our database, which is here, and we want to update our players' master points, because a lot of them have won a lot of points online over the last 14 months. So we go to our database and we go to import merge. And we choose option 5, which is update your master point holdings. And we're going to get those directly from the ACBL website. As long as you're connected to the internet, it's all good. So you say yes. And it's going to update as of June 6th. So we run our master point updates every 6th of the month. So by midnight that night, the next day, you can update your database, your players' master points here. So you say yes, and it will ask you your district number, -16, yes. And now it's going to do all of this. Typically, you're going to have a different number that's modified. I've already updated mine, so it's not going to change, but you're going to have however many of your players have their numbers have changed in your update. Okay, another thing you want to do, I just in your setups, I didn't have this selected. So in your setup, you want to have under game options, allow entry, uh, edit of names in the game file, allow auto stratification, and allow remote score entry. You want to have all those chosen. You don't have to have the remote score entry if you don't use remotes, but the other two you do want to have selected. Okay. Another thing you'll want to do is be sure and back up your database each month so that if something bad happened and you lost all your player database, you would be able to have an older copy of it to bring back in and at least have most of your players that were there before when you updated it the last time. And then our club setup is where we come for, well, let's see. There we go. Okay, so our club setup is, I can scroll arrow up and down. And so this is my little club that I usually use when I'm teaching. So you want to be a club director club. And so it has my sanction number here, my ACBL number, my information. And then if I F2, it's going to take me to where I have my sanctions, my scheduled sessions. Now, I mentioned before that Greg Coles, I'm hoping that somebody will leave before the end of the day so that Greg Coles can get in to answer some of these questions about some of the changes that they're making for face-to-face bridge. They're going to be offering windows of opportunity to offer club championships, the enhanced club championships, I think, or something like that. They're going to offer some of these things, and they're going to allow you to run as many sessions as you want toward the end of the year. So that's something, when we were on BBO, we were kind of spoiled in that if we had a sanction for one session a week, we could run 21 games a day, 21 games a week if we wanted to do that on BBO without changing anything. So that has been an adjustment that they're making, and they'll go back to some kind of a structured format, I would imagine. But as we're kind of making our adjustments as we end this pandemic run, hopefully we can get things back to where they were. Another thing, so you want to be sure and have your game set up. So if you want to add a specific game time after you've F2, you're in this area that's green. Remember, we say add here, and we can add a certain session, and we choose whether it's open, we choose the time, if it's stratified, if it's handicapped, those kinds of things. Okay. Another thing you want to think about as you're coming back is a lot of clubs have used hands from the common game. Again, we have been spoiled on BBO because you were able to just log in every morning like Christmas, and there were your hands for the day for all sessions, and you could just pick one. Well, we're going to go back to the way it was before, where you had your own Dropbox with your games, your hands 2 weeks worth from the common game. And so you're going to need to email them help@thecommongame.com, and they will get your schedule back in, and be sure that you have the hand records, the PBM files that you need, which you use for uploading for your results, as well as in your dealing machines. They are going to be getting rid, I believe, of the dupe files. PBN files work for all purposes. And then you'll have the master file to be able to print hand records for your players in your clubs if that's what you want to do. So you do want to be sure that you are authorized to be using those hands. You don't, they audit that and are aware of people that are doing that. So you want to be sure that you've taken care of business with them as well. I talked about the glitch. Here is, if I click game, if I were to right now try to sort by my newest game, sort by my oldest, whatever, if I click F3 now, I'm going to get this really annoying message that says there's been an error and I'm going to have to close everything down. But we can avoid that just by tabbing down to the time of day. And once we do that, I can click F3, and this is going to give me a listing of games here if I want to go back and open a game that I've had previously. Okay, but I don't really want to do that today. I want to go ahead and just set up a game myself, just as a reminder of how we do this. So the event name here, the file name is done by date, which is fine with me. If you want to change it, call it first Tuesday. I mean, I don't know what your naming, your file naming system is, but you're certainly welcome to change that. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it as it is. And it's going to be an afternoon game. And it's going to say, is this okay to set up? Yes. So now I'm in a new window. I hope y'all see this. Do y'all see this still? Yes, good. Okay, I had trouble on Thursday, so I'm a little nervous. All right, so now I can Control A, which is my quick key for adding a pair game. Okay, so I'm adding this pair game. And my section letter is A. And my color is gray. And so it just does all these little defaults. I'm going to choose a Mitchell movement, 9 tables, 9 rounds, a number of boards per round, 3, standard Mitchell, no duplication. I'm just following the defaults, no phantom pair. It means it's 9 full tables. I can use pickup slips or I can use travelers. It doesn't matter, either one. Depending on what you're using. If you use remote scoring, it doesn't matter because it's going to be bringing these things in. Now I get this that says, do I want to use remote scoring for my entry? I can choose yes now, or I can choose no and enable it later at game time, which is my best practice. That's what I do. So I say no right now. I don't want to enable that scoring just yet. I choose club master point. I may have several clubs, some clubs that have a common location, but different clubs that run different days in the same location may have a different sanction number. So you want to be sure you choose the right sanction number. So this one says 17. Saturday afternoon pairs. I already have a game, an invitational game set up for that time. 3 strats. So this is an invitational game. And then my second strat B, I can make into, if it's up to 750, then I might do 500. And then my third one might be 100 or something like that. I don't have to worry that there's a newcomer game or that there's a limited game because only the open games get credit for those limited games underneath in their master point rating. So I have a Saturday afternoon, 0 to 750. It shows you, here is my name here. If somebody else is substituting for me, they can just backspace and they can put somebody else, okay? And once I'm done, I can say okay, and I'm done setting that up. Okay. Some of the things you want to look at while you're here. If I go to F11, this is what we were talking about with all the menus the things that you can choose, things that you might use on occasion or sometimes is the outside adjustment. So this would be a situation where you might have had a cell phone penalty where you're going to assess maybe a quarter of a board penalty. So pair one north-south, their phone went off, they answered it and talked. So we would say minus 2 points here. And that's going to be an outside scoring adjustment on the total score that they had in match points at the end of the game. And we say, okay. Let's see. So there are ways to get to your board. If we go down here, though, to the bottom, I wanted to show you that there is this place here that's BMO, which is your options for remote scoring. So if you want to do this, you want to be sure that you have checked allow entry of players from their remote. This is going to allow the players to enter their own numbers and names at the table so that then you can bring those names in. It makes your life a lot easier. There's some other commands here. This BME is, it's going to now turn on the remotes for this section. Now that I know, when I come into the club getting ready for my game, what I do is I just set up a 9-table Mitchell for my club. And then once I sell and know what I have, I'll go in and edit movement and fix it. So what I can do here is I can say F9. Oops, I must have hit F10. Sorry. F9. Okay, so F9 is going to allow me to change my movement parameters. Option 5, F9. It's going to say it's going to reconfigure. I agree. Yes, that's fine. I know it may change things here. So now I'm going to change it. Let's say I have, instead of 9 tables, I ended up with 10 tables, with 9.5. So I would do 10 tables, still 9 rounds, 3 boards around, a Mitchell. Now it's going to put in the skip at the halfway, puts a reminder on the screen to tell you to skip. The other reminder is when all your players start to scream that they have played those boards. That's your other friendly reminder to get your players to skip. Phantom pair, yes, and you can just put whatever, wherever there is the empty seat. It might be at table 3 north-south. So we'll put table 3, nobody sat there. So we've now changed it. We have 9.5, we have 30 boards in play, okay? So that's how we edit our movement. I'm sorry, we change our movement parameters. Let me see if I can. I'm hitting my control key and my left button to move to different files. You can see that the file is changing here, the day. So this is a club championship. And what I want to do is I want to look at my strats. Okay, so I F11 strat. And now if I hit F4, it's going to sort by master points. And because I went into my settings and enabled auto stratify, now if I decided that I wanted to change the strats for some reason, I can go in and do that through my F9 command and reset the master points through the number 10 option. And then I'll come here and click auto stratify, and it will change to the correct, the new stratification that I'm using. But these are all in the correct place right now, so that's not going to change. But that's how you see your strats. And you can also F11 ST for strat. If I decided that I just wanted to change a couple of people, I didn't want this person with 864 to actually be a C. I could go in here and make them a B now. And it's going to say, are you sure you want to do that? They have too many points to be that, yes, I want to do that now. And so you can change them here, or you can change them globally by just going in and resetting your master point rating, which is here, F9, set your master point rating, and you can change your parameters for your strat here. So it's just going to take you back through all to get back to here. So, okay. Another thing I want to talk about briefly is, let me see if I can find my Howl movement. This is, okay. So this is another game that I had set up. So it's a Howl movement, number of tables 7. Okay. What happens a lot, and you may end up running howls as you get back to face because clubs are a little bit smaller right now. Is especially in howls, people make mistakes and they go to the table and they sit the wrong direction, and so now they have played their boards the wrong direction. There's a way to fix this. The best way to fix it is at the end of the game, after you've brought in all of your scores and finished all of that. Otherwise, you have to go in and change what is at the remote. So you can go in, you can bring in all your scores, and then you can do F11 and edit movement. Edit movement is going to do a few things for us when we run howls. One thing is it's going to allow us to print cards. If you print guide cards, you can do that with their names. Once you've brought names into your file, if you remember, you post your names, and then you can print your guide cards if you don't have howl mats. You want to be sure that your howl mats are matching your movement. So when you set up your game, you want to be sure that the pairs at table 2 match what are on your mat. But here we can display or change our movement. So let's say we're going to edit one cell because there was just that one time that pair went to the wrong, went and sat the wrong direction. So now we would just find out when it was. So it was table 2 and it was round 3. And now it's going to say, is this a partial round adjustment? Meaning, did they play all the boards the wrong way, or did they play just the first board of that the wrong way? So we're not going to do a partial. We're going to say, no, it's not partial. So you can see that right now, table 2, round 3, north-south was 4 and 6. And now we're going to change it, and it's just going to default it. It's going to flip it to where north-south is now 6 and east-west is now 4. Now you may have had actually a different pair number that went to the wrong table. And if that's the case, you would fix that here under the edit movement command as well. So once you do that, the new board, it's still board 7, that's correct. And now you would escape to exit, and then you save it, save and exit, and that's fixed it. Another thing that can happen in the edit movement that's very helpful is if, let's say you had 12 tables and you decided you were going to put 3 boards on every table for people to play. And so you did 1 through 36. And now another table walks in after you've started, and you now need to resequence your board. So you can go into your display, your board sequencing, and you can change it here. You could take away, you could make it any number. This isn't a 12 table movement with 36 boards. So I'm not really, but you can change if you got boards mixed up and somehow boards 3 and 6 got out of sequence and you had 3 and 6 here, then it's going to change this to 4 and 5. And you want to just be sure that wherever things started, those were the sets that were there. You want to have the correct numbers in your settings. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so also one other reminder is if you're going to give a non-compensating score, so that would be, we enter scores with F2. And so if I want to give a non-compensating score, and this might be an example where, let's say, they played the first board, but they didn't get to the second board because one pair was a fill-in that came in late, and so they didn't get to that board. So you can give a no play, which is an N. Let's say that you have somebody that just has a really hard time keeping up. They have some kind of a physical infirmity, and so they have a lot of late plays. Well, it's not really fair to the pair that doesn't get to play that, but you don't want to give an average minus to someone who has a physical issue or something like that. So what you can do here is you can hit S for a special score. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you the ability to give a non-compensating score. So here I could give average to the north-south pair, but I can give average plus to the east-west pair since they were deprived of playing that board. So there are ways to give non-compensating scores in ACBL Score, and you start that with an S. Let's see, I think that pretty much covers the basics. I might see if there are any specific questions related to is there anything that that anyone's needing to know about as far as ACBL Score? Can you go through the primary start up again? Related to, Kay, are you talking about just setting up a game? Repeat that example, please. Okay. Okay. So let's run through setting up a game again. So we're here at our start menu, game. We can click and it brings up a new file name. Okay. Oh, this is new. Okay. So from here, I can actually add a different game. I can just from here, I can go Control A and it's going to say add a new section. Yes. Okay. And it's going to say, do I want this to be a section, another second section in the 0 to 750? I don't. I want to create a new event. This might be an open pair game that's special. So I say a new event, a pair game. And this is going to be section B. And it's going to be yellow. These colors default to what we have for the letters in ACBL. When you go to a tournament, you'll see that A is always white, B is always yellow, C is green, and on and on. Same movement as another section, no. This is going to be a Mitchell, and I'm going to do 9 tables. Maybe this time I'm going to do 8 rounds because I have people that don't want to play 27 boards anymore. Standard Mitchell, Rover Mitchell. Rover Mitchell is when you have a half of a table and you have a bumping pair. So you only have 9 tables in play versus having a sit out with 10 tables. So 9.5 tables, you can either have a bumping pair in a Rover Mitchell, if you'll remember, or you can have 10 tables with a sit out. So a bumping pair is really is a good way to go because You don't have an extra set of boards in play that are missed by the rest of the field, but you can really run into a problem if your bumping pair is slow. And so you want to watch out for that. I wonder if I have my little sample things. I have repurposed my stop cards that were in the bidding boxes, but I don't seem to have one right here handy. But I actually use my stop cards when I have a bumping pair, and it says stop bumping you next. And I put that stop card ahead of the next table of the next pair that's going to be bumped, but that's just something that's helpful. But anyway, so there's standard Mitchell movement that we're going to do here. No player duplication, phantom pair. No, it's a full table. We can use pickup slips or we can use travelers. Okay. Enable remote scoring, yes or no. I always choose no. And then I BME, F11 BME when I'm ready to start. That's my practice. So club master point, choosing my club. What section is it here? And it's probably going to, so see, I chose an open game. It gave me a session I had already set up as a 0 to 750. So it says confirm that an open game, which is marked as an invitational game, is what you really want to do. Yes. And then I'll choose my other strats. So open and 1500 and 500 is fine. So this is where it says again, is there a newcomer game, a 0 to 20 going on? No. Is it stratiflighted? Is there a limited game going on? And if there is, this is where you can give your open credit for that game. So I can say yes, and I can say there's 7 tables in the other section, so that when I am giving a rating to this open game, they get credit. Who muted me? Lynn, was that you? It said a host muted me. I wonder who that could be.
You're blaming me because you can't see me, but it was not me.
I know, I didn't know who the host was
wasn't me.
Somebody muted me. I understand.
Wasn't
Bradley.
Everybody's lived for the moment to have a button to mute me. But anyway, okay, so we've run through that. Again, if you needed to edit your movement, you could go to, if somebody was wanting to see that again, Ed Move, and you can display, change your movement, edit one cell, and go through those steps again. Okay, so we've done that. One other thing I want to show you in ACBL Score, which is helpful, is the movement tab here at the start screen. Because this movement tab is going to give you an ability to just play around and see what all your options are as far as movement. So you can select a Howl and you can put in 6 tables, 8 rounds, and it will tell you the initial setup. It will just put this up on the screen for you. So if you don't have mats, this will allow you to see what your board distribution is going to look like for the first round. These asterisks here are going to tell you that these people are stationary. Even though they're stationary, they may actually change direction while at that table. And that's what happens sometimes with that edit movement function that I just showed you. They just forget to move directions. And so that's why we get to use that edit movement command. But this is very helpful. It will display your guide cards to your screen. You can then print this, cut these up. I usually make 2 sets, one for me to keep on a page, and one to give to the players. And then that way, when they lose theirs, I can give them their other one. But that is how you do that. You can also look at other movements that are available. This is where you can see if you're brave and want to do web-like movements for odd numbered tables, it tells you how to do that. It also gives you, there's a couple of movements that are called Rover Mitchells for 6.5 and 7.5 tables that allows a bumping pair to go in. Since those are 4-board movements, they let you go in and bump for 2 boards north-south and then 2 boards east-west. It turns it into a one-winner movement, but it lets each person just have a 2-board sit out instead of 4. So these are just games that are available. You can do all kinds of investigating here in this tab to see what the different possibilities are for you to offer. Okay. Before we do this, I want Bradley Bartol was going to do a demonstration. I'm sorry, I forgot about this. So Bradley, I'm not sharing. I'm going to have you share your screen. Yay. He's going to demonstrate how to upload your results for Live for Clubs. So Bradley, take it away. You're muted. Are you there?
How about now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. All right, so this is just your standard login screen on the ACBL website for live or your My ACBL login. Sorry. So you just put in your ACBL number and your password for live or for My ACBL and click submit. Now on my screen, you're going to see some things that you won't see on your screen, but the part we're going to use will be on your screen. Down here, we're looking for Live for Clubs Management, which is over here. You're going to enter your club number here. It's already trying to default to my club number, so I'm going to choose that. And it does a search and it takes a moment. So, all right, so this is what you come to. This is your management page. And there are 3 different places that you should be able to upload a game. Here on the left, down here just under your club number spot, and up here on the right should all work. We have some issues. If I'm going to push one of these buttons, if it works the first time, it will be the first time since May that it has, but it probably will since I always have a problem. So let's try. Yeah, this is what often happens, is it sends you right back to log in again. So we're going to log in again, and I'm going to show you a way to at least reduce the pain here. Back to Live for Clubs Management. Again, enter your club number. Okay, so what we can do now is to go to one of the upload games, and we can right click on it, and you see we have open link in new window. So we can do that. And that's obvious, that's not it. So we don't want that window. And you can just keep doing that until you get the window you want. And hopefully I'll be able to get it fairly quickly here so I can show you what. And yes, we know this is a problem. There, that's the window you're looking for. We know it's a problem, and I'm sorry about that. It's beyond my control, of course, but this is what you're looking for. Until you see this screen, you're going to have to keep reloading that window. Then all you do is right here, game file, you're going to choose a game file. I have mine in here. not at the club, I have them in, my directors send their stuff to a Dropbox backup folder. So this is today, well, let's see, this is, I'm gonna go down to the bottom. Today's, is that right? No, this is a couple days ago. So today's directors didn't do theirs. So we'll just do 610 and open that. And then I generally jump down to the BWS file because they tend to be stored in the same place. And we want 610 again. And then I go back to the hand record file because that I go find at the common game. Common game current. And let's see, what day was I working?
The 10th was Thursday.
Thursday, thank you. So we're going to go to Thursday. And of course, they've already taken the 10th out of here, haven't they?
That's okay. We get the idea.
So you grab, oh no, there's the 10th.
Okay.
And you grab the PBN file from here. And they all match up. And you submit. Okay, it doesn't like what I've done because I've already sent up this game before. So it wants to know if I want to go ahead and replace that game. And I'm going to not do that. But
that's fine.
Generally,
that's
you
great.
would get, generally at the top, you would get right here, it would say, everything's fine, thank you.
That's great. So, thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. Okay, so you can stop sharing your screen. I will tell you that I want to share this first. Here, if I go to acbl.org and I go to clubs, and I go to, I think it was, oops, that's not what I want. Live for Clubs Administration. It takes me, well, this isn't the page that I got to last time either, Bradley. Hold on just a second. The ACBL. I went to club resources for clubs, I think. Okay, so I went to down under clubs, I went to resources for clubs. It takes me to this resources and forms. And then if I click on upload results, it takes me to this page. So this may, yes. So from acbl.org, down at the bottom, resources for clubs, and then upload results, and it takes me to this page. So I don't know if bookmarking this page for anybody in their browser is an option, perhaps, but that's another way to try to skin this cat, just for everybody's information. Not sure it's going to work every time, but it's worked for me this time.
How does it know your club number?
I am logged in as my ACBL.
You're already
I'm already logged into my ACBL, and okay. So now it's probably not going to let me upload from here because I'm not a part of. I don't believe. I mean, I don't really know, but to get to the page, I know you can get here, and okay. If you're a club manager, you should be able to.
I'm going to try it on my other screen to see if I can do it.
Okay, great.